In it, the Rob and Kale podcasts.
Let's go. And welcome into the Rob and Kale podcast. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this evening. We got a lot planned for you tonight. We're going to talk about everything from the Braves playing in Bristol to maybe we'll get back into the Michigan stuff I was talking about earlier today. I found something about Nyck Harbor we'll talk about. And Jackpot sent me some interesting stats. Before I got to introduce Jackpot. He, of course, is the best damn Gamecock YouTuber on the planet, the one and only Mr. Carolina Jackpot, Cale Hall. Cale, what's up, buddy?
What's going on this evening, everybody? Hope you're doing well. I am not Carolina Jackpot. I'm actually Sign Stealer Dude. I don't know if you knew it or not, but I was also part of that operation. I'm turning myself in. I don't know what happened. What's wrong with your video, Rob? You look like you got nuked.
Oh, well.
Clean your lens off.
Okay, well, I don't know what the...
You might need to refresh.
All right, here, I'll refresh. Go ahead and do your thing.
Okay.
Just reload it there.
Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Let me address some folks who is in the chat tonight. We got some folks in here already. Take roll like Uncle Lou does. Christopher Adam, Halo Master 90, Bird Tolly, Will Eubanks, Halo Master 96, excuse me, Baylor Man, Brock Lee, what's up, Brock? Billy, what's up? Matthew Goldsmith, what's going on? What's up, Jerry? Zona Tucson 93, good evening. It's right about supper time in your neck of the woods, so thank you for joining us. Harry Leg, what's going on? Chip Smith, how you, sir? Gamecock Chuck in the house. Paul Lemon is here, and good evening, Moody Okra. Are you a Delta State Okra?
I don't know. I'm not a Delta State anything. All right, so before we get into the mix, Jackpot, the Calloway's Pick'em Challenge is open. I know we've already got some folks in it. The link is in the description. Join the Calloway's Pick'em Challenge. It's $20 for the whole season. We're going to pick 11 of the best or 10 of the best games of the week and the Cale Hall shitter, which is the worst game of the week. And we'll do that every week until the end of the season. 70% goes to first place, 20% to second, 10% to third. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Make sure you join the Calloway's Pick'em Challenge.
Yep. While we're on that subject, real quick, I want to rattle off for you, Rob, who I have in the contest so far. These are the folks that have paid me or someone else has paid for them via PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. These are the folks that are in the contest so far. So listen up. I have lots of people have emailed me asking for confirmation that they're in. Look, I'm going to do these videos. Every time I do one of the annoying videos where I ask people to get in the contest, probably going to rattle off who's in the contest because I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. And if someone, perhaps sent money to the wrong place, we're going to get it fixed. But these are the people that are in it so far. These are the PayPal entries. All right, well, there's Cale and Rob, of course, that are in it. I have Cock the Hammer, Quentin Broom, Hoghead, Big Barney Ross, Undercover Boss, Steven Superior, Tiger in the Burrow. By the way, thank you for the $20 donation. I do appreciate that. I saw the $40 there, and I assumed that you were paying for somebody else. But then I saw you had gifted it, and I also sent you a message on PayPal. Thank you. Todd, Nicky, Nichi, 2013, Jeremy, 717, Billy Cole, 711 Orange, BC 1997, and Mike Bridges. Those are the PayPal entries. Now, if you're going to get in this contest and you plan on getting in via PayPal, please send it to me, friends and family. Don't send it to me as goods and services, because when you do that, it charges me like $1.40 fee. So you're in essence sending $18.60, which is not the full entry. I've had 3 people do that. It's cool because I'll make it up somehow or another. I'll dig for some change in the cushions or something, but Just make sure you do it as friends and family. That way, don't charge a fee to anybody. All right, the Venmo entries: Ray Bob Jr., Dr. Bart, Jacob Rowletter, Michael Gentry. Shout out to Taylor Chipping Man, Scott Gentry, Kenneth Gallman, Cheryl Watson, Larry Centerfit, and Carrie. And then the Cash App entries would be Baylor Man, Bulldog JC, Troy Moses, Sancho, Ethan Hewlett, and the Rooster Man. Those are all the ones that I've gotten so far. John Withers, that I was corresponding with earlier, trying to give you some help. You said you sent your entry Venmo. It's not showing up, dude. I don't know. I did reply to your email, and I put the link to my Venmo in that email. That's what you need to click on to pay me. I don't know where your money went, brother. If you sent some already, it didn't come to me. But anyway, those are the folks who are in the contest so far. Thank you for indulging me.
All right. Well, there you go.
Hey,
In the contest, it's not that complicated. You know, I mean, I hate to be that way, but it's not that complicated. Someone asked, there's a how-to video. It is on the. If you have problems with that, please let me know. I'll send you the how-to video.
the video that I did today, I linked it also.
Okay, well, there you go. So check Kale's latest video that he posted today. And there's a how-to video where I think I did a good job of educating folks. I don't know. The wife over there is the teacher of the family. She's the one with all those degrees and all that shit. She's the bright one, but I tried to break it down as simply as I could for folks that may not be as tech savvy as everybody else. All right. So there's that. All right. Now, Jackpot sent me a message a little bit ago, and I was up at the Kroger, and he when Jackpot starts pulling stats.
Oh, really? I'm jealous that you got to go to Kroger. All I have around near me is a shitty food line.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir.
Well, I have Publix too, but you have to turn left to get into it. They took away there's no turn lane there, so I just go to food line. Anyway.
So I was up at the Kroger, and Jackpot starts sending me these stats, and I'm like walking down the dairy aisle, and I'm like, Jackpot's made a lot of sense here, but let's start with what got Jackpot to start looking up stats this evening. I got to share this right here with Jackpot, with everybody here. So we'll go with that first. Let's see here. I got the actual picture here, Jackpot. Let's show people here. And it says, and I'm assuming this is from YouTube. It says Tim Standard 7927 says South Carolina would never beat Tennessee or Clemson, for that matter, if it wasn't for the sign stealing, point blank. Now, normally when someone says something silly like that, we just laugh at them and say that they're uninformed. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. But the problem is 26 people agreed with that. That means that stupidity has latched off and went to a lot more people. I think that's what pissed you off this evening, right, Jackpot?
Well, it's not that. This has pissed me off. So the Connor Stallion thing has come to light, and so the NCAA is putting the hammer down on it. So it looks like to me, pretty much, or is it safe to say that old Sharon Moore is the one who's pretty much left holding the bag here?
Well, he's going to have some stuff against him because apparently he went back and deleted text messages that were between him and Stallions. It's.
Yeah, he got up there and he was talking, and he sounded like he had a big mouthful of marbles, and he was either that or about to shit on himself.
No, that's Jackpot's a crack reporter there, buddy. That's funny.
He does. He kind of sounds like a big baby a little bit, so with all that come to light, so we've got our buddy over there, Sports Talk Jay, who's made two videos, 2 separate days, where he pretty much said the same thing, bringing into question the South Carolina involvement in this. We can talk about these stats, but I want to talk to you about something. We'll talk about something. So, Sports Talk Jay thinks that South Carolina cheated to beat Tennessee and Clemson. Okay. Rob, I want to ask you a question. and we're in Facebook groups together, wherever we're together. South Carolina fans can't stand the Clemson fans. They can't stand us. How many Clemson fans have you heard bring this up?
Zero.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
why is that?
It's
Why?
a non-story with Clemson because when you look back at that game, the reason that Clemson lost that game was, I mean, there was a couple of things. Clemson pretty much dominated that game if you look at the team stats and everything else. So South Carolina had more total yards, but if South Carolina had Clemson signs, they would have defended them a lot better, in my opinion. Clemson rushed for 237 yards on the ground.
237 yards. South Carolina rushed for 55 yards. South Carolina threw the ball for 360 yards. Clemson threw the ball for 99 yards. Will Shipley rushed the ball 15 times for 132 yards. How many of those yards, and I don't know, maybe you know, how many of those were in the first half?
Oh goodness, I'd have to go back and look.
Okay, well, in the second half, Dabo decided to throw the ball with a quarterback who can't throw the fucking ball.
Yeah, well,
that's where you lost.
But there's also the flower of power play where they decided to try to get cute on special teams.
Well, that was dumb, but I don't think South Carolina got any points out of that.
Yeah, but it killed momentum, though. I mean,
it killed momentum. But the most costly turnover there, obviously, was Antonio Williams fumbling the punt. They could have set themselves up for a game-winning field goal.
Right.
I got nothing on that. I don't understand, though. There are no Clemson fans bitching about this. And honestly, they have more to bitch about. They have more to bitch about with the thing because if South Carolina cheated to fucking beat them, Clemson was a conference champion. They were a Power 5 conference champion. They won their conference championship game. If they had beaten South Carolina, they would have went to the playoffs. They would have went. I don't know if Tennessee would have won or not because they had a conference loss. They were not going to be a conference champion. So,
well, as a Clemson fan that's still sour about that game, South Carolina beat Clemson simply because Clemson turned the ball over, 3 turnovers. DJ Uiagalelei, he hit a cheerleader in that game. It's not a joke. He hit a cheerleader on the sideline on an out route, hit her right in the back of the head. Antonio Williams doing his thing, fumbling the ball late, where Clemson could have gotten up and maybe gotten a field goal to beat them. There were lots of little things there, but also Spencer Rattler played out of his mind, throwing for 360 yards.
Yeah,
he threw a couple of interceptions, but he never let that go to him. I mean, he's still 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
I've got a poor opinion of him now, but Juicy Wells, I think, was the MVP.
Yeah, 9 receptions, 131 yards.
Yeah, and he sealed the game up with a 3rd down conversion there too.
Yeah, well, my thing with this, and I want to get to your stats in a second, but the game was almost 2 years ago. And Sports Talk Jay, I don't watch his program because there's just too much, Tennessee's the goddess of all this. And I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that, he does a good show, don't get me wrong, but in the end, I don't know if he's just looking for people to come and see him because they're still pissed off about that game. But you're not going to get that game back, and South Carolina's not on your schedule. So you're not building up to anything this year. You're not going to play them this year. So why not just let that go? There are things you could be talking about with Tennessee that are viable, in my opinion.
They think that there's going to be some kind of investigation into this. They've got who they want.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even if there is an investigation, they're not going to go back and take back the win. South Carolina beat you. And look, I was upset today about the Michigan stuff, but Michigan's still your national champion.
Right.
If that hurts feelings.
If anybody listens to that Cover 3 podcast, I listened to that, the one with Tom Fernelli, Chip Patterson, and Danny Cannell. And look, when they talked about this is going to blow over, and nobody's going to remember it before long. But it's like, how, when you talk about Tom, they were compared it to when you think about Tom Brady. Like, what do you think about it was the best quarterback of all time? How many people think about the Deflate Gate? I don't know. They brought that up, and I was like, oh, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
It's going to go back. And we also didn't talk about, Connor Stallions, what was it, like the 1st of October when he was dismissed? I mean, they beat Penn State, ran the ball 18 straight times. They didn't have Penn State signs. They went to the playoffs. They beat Alabama. They beat Washington.
They beat Ohio State too, and they
beat Ohio State without signs. Not saying it's right. No, it's not. But when the problem was discovered and it was alleviated, they still kept on winning.
Yeah, they kept on winning, and that's correct. The pesky poll says Michigan makes Clemson look ethical. Yeah, there's that too.
Well, I hate to keep on giving his stupid rhetoric attention here, but one of the things that Sports Talk Jay brings up as a point as to why this could have happened, it's because South Carolina won those 2 games. They finished the season 8-4, and then after that point, I think they were 2-7. But on separate videos, Sports Talk Jay has brought up Marshawn Lloyd, Jaheim Bell, Jordan Birch, basically talking about how South Carolina is turning into a feeder program for larger schools. Okay, well, all those guys transferred out after those 2 games. Then we're gonna retract. We're gonna ask, okay, why are they not still winning at that level? There you go, because they lost good players, and because they're fucking injured.
Yeah. Well,
here's another thing I thought about too. Yeah. And this makes a little sense too to me. Maybe not. When Jaheim Bell transferred out, there was a lot of hatefulness and vitriol there with him. He'd gotten into it with Gamecock fans at the games. Him and his mom was making a mockery of that. That was just a big nasty scene there. Now, maybe not, because maybe he may have wanted to come back to South Carolina eventually, like Jordan Birch wanted to do, but I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if he was told no. I don't know if he decided not to pursue it, whatever. But I heard that was a rumor he wanted to come back. But with the Jaheim Bell thing, with all that bad blood, if they were cheating in these games, you'd think, even though he didn't play defense, he'd know something. Why wouldn't he blow the whistle, maybe, and not let everybody know that he's the one who blew it? Why wouldn't somebody blow the whistle on that?
I think that
look, really,
the idea that and this is just in my opinion, what makes Josh Heupel's offense great is that he can take quarterbacks that have not been great and turn them into what looks like great quarterbacks. And a lot of it is because it's simplicity. It's basically 12 plays, jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the option to flip them from one side to the other. So it's not a complicated playbook. So I think that if you have a good someone on defense that can catch this stuff and can figure out what you're doing, there's ways to stop it. So I don't know. I think it's much ado about nothing.
Navy guy, nobody blew a whistle. Nobody blew a whistle. They investigated where Connor Stallions had went and who he had been scouting.
Right.
he apparently scouted the Tennessee-Kentucky game, and apparently at some point he scouted Clemson. People were putting 2 and 2 together to try to come up with this scenario.
Well,
do you think why didn't somebody give Vanderbilt Tennessee signs? Did anybody ask anybody at Vanderbilt the next week? Did they get any of Tennessee's signals? I mean, because they beat them 56-0.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have made a lot of sense, though. Yes.
The stats you sent me, Jackpot, they're pretty good. You want to give me those?
What's that?
The stats that you sent me. Do you want me to read them, or you got them?
No. You can go ahead. I'll read them. I'll read them because I want to do this. So in 2022, now this is for the whole season. Tennessee averaged 46 points a game. South Carolina scored 38 points against Tennessee. Now this is an SEC play leading up to that game. Tennessee had scored 42 points per game in their SEC games. Now they scored 38, 40, 52, 44, 13, and 66. Now, I don't know if any of those were defensive touchdowns. It really doesn't matter if 1 or 2 was. It's not going to skew that number too much. Your yardage per game in 2022, you averaged 528 yards per game. Against South Carolina, you rolled up 505 yards. So you were 23 points off your average. My point is South Carolina didn't stop you. They didn't stop you. You're running up and down the field. What?
Yeah, but they also didn't stop South Carolina. Carolina. That's so what happened.
Who stole what signs here? Yeah, they had. This is the only game they wore wristbands. That's the thing that gets me. I thought they had on some wristbands, and they probably did have something on it. They didn't have plays on there. They probably had formations on there, because that was a very. It's not that it's a complex offense to defend against, but it's fast moving. There are a lot of moving parts. It's a gimmick, whatever we call it. I mean, they probably have formations on here. This look. I mean, you better look for this. It's ridiculous. And they didn't wear any wristbands against Clemson. I don't know, man. I don't have anything else. I can't argue about it anymore.
I know, but here's the thing with that, though, is that Hendon Hooker had an interview, and they asked him, what was the difference playing for Heupel under playing for Justin Fuente at Virginia Tech? And he said, well, he makes it so much simpler. You come up to the line and it's 3 calls instead of 8 calls. And it's more simple because that's what it is. It's simplicity at its finest. And opposing defensive coordinators can slow it down. They can. If they can figure out little things, they can do it. So there you go with that. And by the way, once again, it's 2 years ago. They're not on your schedule anymore. You should let it go. Okay.
Johnny Apple says they're in the place.
More worried about who is on your schedule.
Johnny Apple says they're in the place.
Yeah.
You're competing for national titles. Yeah, you haven't done so in 26 fucking years. Okay.
I'm going to add this to the. I'm going to add that to the bookcase of accountability because that's just.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, we're going to add that to the bookcase of accountability.
Johnny says we're mad that South Carolina sucks. Well, I think you're mad. It's sad that the Clemson people can cope with this. I mean, they can cope with it. I haven't heard one excuse come from the Clemson people. None. Why? Because it's a championship level type program. They've had some success, and they know how to deal with failures without acting like a bunch of bitches.
Yep. Well,
without acting like a fucking 5-year-old who didn't get the damn O. Henry bar that they wanted at the damn grocery store. So they're going to throw themselves on the floor, kick, scream, red face, get drug out until they get their ass whipped in the back of the station wagon. That's the Tennessee man right now. Clemson man can accept things.
Well, Clemson fans Clemson fans were more upset with the fact that they had with the decisions that Dabo Sweeney made, especially sending Uiagalelei out there when he just played like he didn't give a shit. Let's welcome Hunter to the program. Hunter, what do you have for the show, sir?
Hey, what's going on tonight, fellas?
Buddy. What you got, man? Go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, good deal. Hey, well, y'all know I'm a Tennessee fan, but I'm with you on this. It's it gets on my nerves still hearing about it.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it sucked. We lost, but I'm kind of with Jackpot. Time to get over it.
Right, because it makes your own fan base. You understand, because it makes your own people look petty.
It does. It as a Tennessee fan, I get half embarrassed, half aggravated at other Tennessee fans. And, obviously they were playing well. I really think what it boils down to is we were so close to the playoffs, and if they could have won that game, it could have been, very close. And I believe that's why people still hang on to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we hadn't had that kind of success in years. But there comes a point where it's like, all right, we had a shot, and Tennessee. Not saying they're going to make the playoffs this year, but they've recruited well. Heupel's done well enough that's probably not their own, especially with a 12-team playoff. That's probably not going to be their only shot to play.
No, that's not going to be their only chance.
So it does get aggravating when people just go on and on about it. And hey, it could come out and they things could have happened. But if it is, oh well. Everybody's trying to have a competitive advantage, and people are going to push the lines to the brink to try to win the game. If we're just being honest, every team, every coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one other thing, real quick, before I let y'all go.
Yeah.
Christopher, he's a South Carolina fan. He's in the chat. We made a bet last week, $10. I just wanted to know, does he need my Venmo tonight to pay me, or does he need it the night of the North Carolina State game? I just didn't know.
Are you at work?
You at work?
Do what?
You at work? Huh?
My basement.
Oh, I couldn't tell if you was in a garage or something. You're hanging out.
I am.
Well, you bet him $10 on the NC State game.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he bet me 10, bet somebody else 10, but which it's all good and fun. But yeah, I just didn't know if he wanted that Venmo tonight, go ahead, or if he wanted to wait.
I wish I had a basement where I could store shit.
Oh, you don't want this shit.
I got too much shit in the house.
It's just a place to
when
store more
we
shit.
move, we're going to have a heck of a time.
All right. I'll let y'all go.
Appreciate it, Hunter. Have a good day, man. Let's welcome a friend of the program. Oh, I hope brings me on his program in the fall, Mr. Rooster here. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm ready, man. I need a Clemson preview.
So one of my favorite programs to go on is Rooster's program, because we end up talking about sometimes it's stuff that's not football, but it's just most of the time it's honest. Unless he brings Octavian with him, then I don't want to be there. I'd rather eat paint chips than listen to Octavian.
Hey, Rob. I actually talked to Octavian on the phone. He's not as delusional on the phone in person.
Oh, well,
he is on YouTube.
I mean, okay, well.
So he's an actor, huh?
And he's a Clemson fan. He says Clemson is beating Georgia.
It's what he thinks that they're.
Never mind.
Hey,
everybody's beating Georgia. He thinks Georgia's going 2-10 or some shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackpot.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to give some truth to some information, and I get it. I'm burned out on the whole sign stealing thing too. All of us Gamecock fans pretty much knew that Freddie Kitchen took over play calling for South Carolina after the Florida game.
Yeah.
Because everyone was just done with Satterfield.
Yeah.
Now Beamer will say no, it was Satterfield, but hey, look, he's not throwing his buddy that was in his wedding under the bus.
Yeah.
But we all know the offense changed. It was talked about. They all got in a room. They picked the best plays and all that stuff. If you really wanted to point a finger at a coach that would have helped South Carolina, how about not looking at Beamer's former boss, Kirby Smart, at Georgia, that had already beaten Tennessee that year?
Mm-hmm.
And what did Georgia do? They played man coverage. Why? Because they had the talent to do it. What happened with South Carolina? Hey, how about a first-round draft pick cornerback named Cam Smith that said, I'm taking Jalen Hyatt and I'm dropping my nuts on him. He ain't doing shit. Guess what? Jalen Hyatt didn't do shit that football game.
Mm-mm.
Then you had that Kamal Haddon guy, this DB, that like he couldn't cover anything, nothing, nobody. He wanted to fight offensive linemen and shit, where he would have got his ass kicked, not on the field, off the field, anywhere he wanted to go.
Yeah, it was
But
Joe.
the dude was horrible. If Tennessee wants to point fingers, how about point fingers at your DB room that sucked? You couldn't cover Juice Wells to save your life.
You're missing something here, Rooster. It was raining
What?
in Athens. That's why they lost in Athens. That
Oh,
nothing to
okay.
do with the first
And
round
our
it was rain. And then with you guys, it was they were stealing signs. So
Hey,
there's
Rob.
always an excuse.
Hey, Rob, we also sanded the field. But let me tell you something. You guys know this. I've been working on Florida State's football stadium, right? Guess what they do every week?
Quit.
No, they drive this little tractor out there.
Yeah.
And it has this thing called fertilizer in a little thing that goes behind the tractor. And every week they drive that little tractor across the field and drop down fertilizer. It's not sand, dummies. It's fertilizer that makes the grass grow if you have natural grass in your stadium. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, the conspiracy theory is bullshit. You lost, accept it, take the L, because you can't spell citrus without UT, and you can't spell volunteers without the L, which means loser.
Good point, sir. I got nothing for you on that. Just I mean, they're complaining about something you just can't fix.
No, it was 2 years. Does it matter this year? And it's like the people that always come in and they want to show the history of their football team. Like, we were such and such over the last 100 years against so and so. How many of those players on the 2024 roster?
I got nothing, man. None of them. I mean,
I'm just saying it's relevant to 2024. How?
Look, when you bring up different stats and stuff like that, and you're trying to determine where a program is, like a 20-year window, I think is a good window. You know,
yeah,
because then you can have ups and downs, different recruiting classes, all of that, right? They bitch when I pull numbers from 20 years. You know, and it's like,
well,
I don't know.
Jackpot and Rob, let me ask you guys this question: how relevant is last year's stats as far as, like, they like to talk about returning production, and they want to judge teams on returning production, but with the transfer portal and NIL and everything now, and the players that are jumping around, how much does returning production really even mean anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, is that like 50% of a team?
Yeah, I mean, you might have 20% of returning production on offense, but then you might be bringing in a running back who rushed for 1,300 yards at his old school. So,
well, and if you judge returning production, then LSU will be the worst team in the SEC this year.
and you can't really adjust it for that because you don't know how they're gonna. You don't know, don't know how much success they're gonna have with their new team because, some of those guys struggle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you looked at LSU losing Jaden Daniels, both starting wide receivers. You look at Florida State, same thing. They lost their starting quarterback, both wide receivers. So if you're trying to use returning production as how good a team's going to be this year, especially with the transfer portal and bringing in all these kids, that's a hard thing to judge, and it's almost like just
I think that the only thing you can use with that is the quarterback position, and I think snaps taken with your offensive line. How many snaps did your offensive line have together? Because continuity is important on that front. Those two areas I get, but with the other stuff, I mean, it's almost like a Mr. Potato Head. You don't like what you have here, you can pull off Mr. Potato Head's one set of hair and put on a different one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just the way that it is.
Well, we've seen when like
I believe we had a Mr. Potato Head reference.
But what was that like?
Tremendous.
TCU made a national championship game. They lost every player.
Right.
Okay, so all their returning production left. But yet, I mean, no one loved TCU the following year. But a lot of these teams like Florida State, all their returning production leaves, and now they're picked to win the ACC. I don't understand it.
Well, I've been told LSU is going to be fine wide receiver wise cause talent.
Well, unproven talent. I mean, I don't want to get into that because then people will call it, well, they have this 4-star. I don't give a shit what stars next to their name.
Right. And what proven talent is at Florida State right now that you say they should be predicted to win the ACC? There's older, more teams that have way more production in the ACC than Florida State does.
Didn't they get that guy from Alabama that had the pacifier?
Yeah, I think so.
They got a couple guys from Alabama, I think.
Yeah, one on defense. The one that had the pacifier that was a running back, Roy Dell.
Maybe I'm in the camp of if you leave Alabama, maybe you just couldn't cut it at Alabama.
Hey. Jackpot and I have a good defensive lineman named Goodwine that came from Alabama. He can cut it, sir. Don't
If he could cut it, he'd still be playing in Alabama, right?
Jackpot, tell Rob, don't be hating, man.
Don't be hating, Rob.
Yeah, just because Clemson won't take transfers, don't be hating, Rob.
Okay.
Somebody somewhere was excited about some kid that Florida State picked up in the portal that's like a Swiss Army knife type player from fucking Indiana. Well, Indiana's coach got fired. I mean, okay, I guess.
Look, I'm going to leave y'all with this because I know you probably
Indiana dude and the ukuleles winning the ACC, though.
I'm going to leave y'all with this because I know you got people in the back room. As Josh Pate would say, everybody has good coaches, good players, and everybody should win 10 games a year.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to listen to the show from the chat. Appreciate you letting me on.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, we're going to build a power with transfers to Indiana.
I'm telling you, the Indiana man and the ukulele man are taking this thing to the top, dude.
All right, let's welcome.
I'm gonna strap a rocket to their ass.
What's up, buddy?
Hunter, where's my money? Where's my money, Hunter?
All right, I think. Hold on just a second. This is a fine time to put out on the program. If you utilize this program's chat room to make bets with people and they don't pay you, it's not our fault. You deal with whoever you made a bet with. Okay, we're not gonna. We don't get into all that nonsense. That is on you. All right. So you're making bets with people that use names like SEC Dog and Orange Flavored, and Lawnmower Man and Batman Gummies and Biscuit. That's who you're making bets with. People that make up names like that.
Yeah, Johnny Apples, you know what I mean? Like,
and Brock
get that name, man. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I watched a video earlier today. So I think with the Michigan thing, how come they don't come up with something, like the NCAA, if they really want to abide by the rules or whatever? Oh, God, here he is.
Hey, I need you to buy
out the basement. Get out your basement.
Get out my basement. Oh, I'm sorry. Some people have priorities.
That's the problem. So you're at hold on. He's at work.
How does
But
having
he's
a
hiding from
basement
the
mean
boss.
that you have priorities? You have a
Good
basement?
gracious.
You have priorities? Is that where we're going?
No, my kids are trying to go to sleep, so I'm trying not to be too loud.
Oh, well, you don't want to wake up the kids because then you got to deal with life. You don't need that in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, I was going to tell you, I need you to buy one less case of beer this week for that $10.
Oh my God! Here he goes again. I'm gonna buy another pack because I know you're gonna pay me. So
I'll pay.
Anyway.
Hey, if they lose, I'll pay you. You got it. My word.
I got you if they win or lose, but whatever.
All right.
So I got a question, Rob.
Good night, Hunter, man. Take care, okay, buddy? All right.
Thank you.
Got there.
So why don't they make it like? Why don't the NCAA double A come back and like, all right, say they can't get but X amount of players from the transfer portal or something,
Well,
or say they can't use it at all.
We talked about that today on the rundown, and it's like I'm up for out of the box ideas because what we have now doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
The idea of a
Not at
college
all.
football czar, and that college football czar makes decisions, and you don't get to argue with him, whoever it is. We made this decision. You don't get to sue. Your attorneys can politely go fuck themselves. Yep. We're not doing. You don't get to sue, and it happens immediately. This is what I've determined. Have at it. And by the way, hammer these programs.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to make it hurt when you do things that are against the rules. Let's try that.
Either you don't get a bowl game, or you do, it doesn't count. You forfeit it, right? Or, make teams sign something.
Win, it doesn't matter.
Forfeit it. I don't care. I mean, hey, some
doesn't
teams
matter. I mean, you
as
need
a
to
Gamecock
set it up
fan, you need
where
it.
you can hinder their program from being able to compete. Make these big dollar boosters have to watch a shit program. Make these big dollar boosters have to watch Vanderbilt beat them. That's what like going into the Vanderbilt game. You're like, shit. If we don't have our stuff together, we're gonna lose to Vanderbilt. Make it hurt like that, and that'll stop this cheating nonsense.
I'd rather have my knuckles
take them out of
dragged
the
across
playoffs.
the cheese grater.
Yeah.
I'd go take it, especially Michigan. They think they're going to the playoffs this year. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Take them out of that, especially if they're a Tennessee, a top team. Take them out of the playoffs, take their championship away. You got to make it hurt.
Yeah. Ethan's on his way to the 100 where Jackpot gives him the old knee pad treatment. He says, make sure you just joining in, and F. Schultz. That's great. Thank you.
Schultz is going to be upset. All right. So he'll be calling. He's going to call and cry about it.
Don't you steal no signs now.
Where we've got people that have been watching this show since middle school, and now they're in college. We're getting old, brother.
That's when you know you've arrived.
Yeah.
So most
guys people date themselves by your show.
Exactly what I was saying. Most guys will be trying to get the chicks or whatever, trying to look forward to prom. He's on here watching Gamecocks or Clemson. You know what I mean?
I remember like when I was in middle school / high school, I was on the White Tail Trail. That's what I was looking for.
I'm listening to the podcast.
I had my I didn't sit around watching two chunky guys debate college football. No, sir.
Well, had I had the opportunity,
that's what I was looking for. Come on now.
Oh well, guys, y'all have a good night.
All right, there you go. Appreciate it. All right, put the invite thing out there again. Jackpot. The other thing I had was should Nyck Harbor move to the defensive side of the ball? What do you think about that?
No. I don't think so. I already told you why. The reasoning that I read on the Gamecock board made a lot of sense. I mean, he's going to have to bulk up to play defensive end and put weight on that's going to slow him down for track. I mean, this guy's going to be in the Olympics one day, 4 years from now. What is that when the next one is? I think so.
Los Angeles, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said there's no pro track, but the Olympics is pro track, and yeah. By the way, did you see that we had a Gamecock win a gold medal?
I read something about it. I mean, congratulations to all of our winners for
Went see something or other. My son called and told me about it. I don't even know who that is, but
I don't either.
It's cool.
It is cool. I mean, it's cool when anybody wins a medal, man. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
as long as it's not those dirty Russians.
Yeah, the hell with those dirty Russians. But no, I think that Harbor is the guy that has the potential to have that breakout year. Last year, I thought he had a bigger impact than he did. 12 catches for 195 yards, averaging 16 yards a catch and 1 touchdown. Now, I'm not out of turn here saying that the quarterback that's going to play is probably not as good as Spencer Rattler was. Okay? But on the other hand, maybe Spencer Rattler didn't have a connection with Harbor. Maybe that was part of it too. I don't know.
To me, the offense last year, it didn't. I know he was putting up numbers the whole entire year, except for I guess like that game against Vanderbilt, maybe. Even at some points in that game against Furman, I don't know. Things just seemed rushed. It seemed like that offense wasn't always clicking. It seemed like they had issues. So I mean, I don't think that's the greatest environment to usher in someone who, yes, they may be a freak, but they're playing out of position, a brand new position, and in their first year of playing college ball. I don't know if I make any sense here.
I mean, I got you.
That offensive line being so horrendous, I mean, that really, really fucked up a lot of things. And had that offensive line not been so horrendous, I think Mario Anderson would have rushed for over 1,000 yards. Mario Anderson would probably still be at South Carolina. I think that's why he hit the transfer portal. He left and went to Memphis. I think he was pissed off because they were out there, talking turkey with Rocket Sanders. I think that's what he got pissed off about.
Well, on the other hand,
after he almost died in the Clemson game, and he's like, "This is how you repay me." Okay, fuck you.
But
I don't know. I can't say that I really blame him.
To be fair, though, we don't really know how good the offensive line is going to be this year. We don't know for sure. I mean, it could be a strength or it could be a hindrance. Let me address something over here. Someone said I said that South Carolina would go 3-9 with Clemson's schedule. I said they could go 3-9 with Clemson's schedule. I stand behind that. There's a window that could happen. If your offensive line was as shitty as it was last year, yes, you could play this Clemson schedule this year and go 3-9. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. That's just how I feel. They also could go 7-5 with that schedule, but they could go 3-9. They could. Stop thinking that you're the end all be all and you're just you're acting like the Tennessee fans now. Oh, we invented fucking football and there's no way that we could go through an ACC schedule and finish 3-9. You could. You have a coach that kicks Gatorade coolers and breaks his foot. You don't have anything that makes you think, okay, we're the best ever, especially on that offensive line front. So just stop it. Yeah, I said it and I meant it. You could go 3-9. You could go 7-5 too, though. Stop making it out like I'm just throwing out that they would go 3-9. I said they could go 3-9, and they could make an argument for all of it.
Did you say that when you said the other part? So I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did. We can go back and look at it. The tape's there, brother. I said they could go 3-9 with that schedule. They could.
No, I knew you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you said they could also go 7-5. I don't remember.
I also said they could go 7-5. I'm pretty sure I said that. If not, if you had to,
I don't think you did.
Okay, well, if I have to spoon feed all of you, then I'm sorry. You could go 7-5
What?
too.
It's not spoon feeding. You're just clarifying yourself.
Fair enough. Rob has an SEC bias, joins us, and he has Billy's headset.
First of all, Rob, we just need to go ahead and stop this fucking disrespect right here and right now. All right? I'm not going to stand for it.
Brother, I'll tell you what. I'm going to say my name is on the marquee, and I'll say whatever the fuck that I want to say.
Well, so is
if you don't
his.
like it, then go and get.
So is mine.
You're... No,
You
but the
motherfucker.
reality is that that's how I feel, and I'm not going to change. I'm not. So.
Well, you know what, Rob?
What?
You seem to forget you've got that inept motherfucker Cade Club shit as your quarterback, all right? You've got nothing but bleak outlooks on your season. Nobody's talking about Clemson's going to surprise the nation this year.
Clemson's ranked in the top 15 in every poll that I've seen so far.
And how long you think that'll last?
I think they'll finish in the top 15 this season. I've said that on the
show. If I
show.
was a Clemson fan, you asked me that, I'd have said 1 week because after we beat Georgia, we're going to be in the top 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't put out shit and say
a little quicker.
Everything that Clemson did, it was what Georgia. Nothing Georgia did. It was what Clemson didn't do. I don't say shit like that, John.
Well, when Kale says it, it's true. I mean, the Gamecocks are the
fact.
the game. There isn't a team in the country that shoots themselves in the foot more than the fucking South Carolina Gamecocks. And if you've covered them, you know that.
I know that, but I also know that your coach is an inept asshole that kicks fucking water coolers.
Yeah, well, Dabo fucking doesn't even know the name of one of his best recruits this year.
Dabo has 2 national titles.
Oh, what's your? I'm standing here with
Tell me
what's
about
your
the
name
national
again?
Titles. Tell me about the national titles that Shane Beamer has. I'll wait.
Listen. Unfortunately, there's not a new spring branch in the 803, or maybe we would have raked in a couple of them. You know, ever since NIL became a thing, you know, it just so happens to be a coincidence. Clemson's been on the downturn every year, but we won't talk about that.
A ranked team, but sure, whatever.
Well, they were a ranked team last year, and they lost 4 fucking games. They lost to Duke and Boston College.
Would you rather be where Clemson's program is now, or sitting here and bitching about where South Carolina is?
I'd rather be where South Carolina is.
Well, then that just shows how dumb you are and how long
the real question is, would you rather be a team that at least has a chance to be great, or would you rather be a middle of the pack ACC team?
You're so dumb.
That's what you just asked me right now.
Just dumb.
Dude, Rob, you
don't have the potential to be anything.
You want to
Stop
bet?
It.
Everybody's got potential.
Phil Steele disagrees, Rob. He gave us 9 wins. Phil Steele knows his damn football. You know that, Rob.
Old slobbercock that Jackpot sent me a clip of said, they're going to beat Clemson this year. You can have that opinion, but that just makes you a dumbass. So,
well, whatever.
I mean, Dabo's just lost it, man.
I mean,
that is true. That is true. But, I mean, if we're just honest with ourselves, Dabo's lost it. Look at his past, fucking 3 hires. They've all been absolute flops. They're terrible, man. You just haven't accepted that. And for the past 4 years, they've lost.
When have I come on here and said Clemson's the greatest program ever? I'd love to hear that.
I never said that.
Hey, well, then you're trying to fill a narrative and put words into my mouth that I didn't say.
No, I never
I've
said
also
that.
said on this program that until Dabo Swinney acknowledges the transfer portal and starts using it, the idea of getting to a point where you can go and beat Alabama by 28 points is a pipe dream. I've said that on the program.
I agree with that.
He is doing something that, his mentality is we're going to be Clemson owned and all that. And I think that Clemson this season, if they don't win 10 games, they're going to be people looking at him like, look, asshole, what you're doing is not working.
I agree.
You need to start using the transfer portal, because if you don't, we're going to end up looking like idiots.
Well, here's a serious question, Rob.
If they lose to Georgia, which I think they do, okay, and they drop that game to NC State, all right, and they lose that fucking idiot that coaches up there who went and got a transfer quarterback from Coastal Carolina and revamped his offense. If you have the transfers beating you and you don't do anything about it, then that says something about you, and you're not coming of age.
Y'all are 1-2 against that idiot I think. The last
Doran?
few years.
Well, here's a serious question, Rob. Here's a serious question. How
Hell,
many
owns
more?
you. He owns you in Raleigh.
Yeah. Well, how many more 8 or 9 win seasons do you think it's going to take until Dabo just walks away from the game?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me to sit here and make an educated guess on that, I think there may be stuff behind the scenes where going 8-4 is not the standard that Dabo Sweeney set us up.
Well, and that's what I think.
He's a stubborn motherfucker.
He is.
He'll end up. He's going to end up. I predict getting the Bobby Bowden treatment. You know, let's take Grandpa out behind the barn and shoot him.
Oh, you think he'll stay until they fucking force him out, Kale?
No,
I think so.
He'll get the Ken Hatfield treatment. He'll be like, "Hey, I'm, they go 9-3 or whatever," and he's like, "Screw it, I'm going to go coach at Rice or."
No, Ken Hatfield was good. Ken Hatfield did a good job. They ran him off because he wasn't a Tater man.
Yeah, well,
somebody like fucking Danny Ford. I mean, I don't care. Danny Ford he went to Alabama, played for Alabama, but you looked at him. I mean, he was born on the 50-yard line at Death Valley. Okay,
right.
I mean, Ken Hatfield was that.
Well, I mean personally, y'all give it maybe a string of 2 more 8-4 seasons. I think Dabo walks away, man.
They're not going 8-4 this year.
You really think so? I haven't looked at y'all's full. I mean, you're losing to Virginia Tech outright. Let's just be honest. You're losing to Virginia Tech. You're probably losing to NC State.
Throwing out stuff, and you don't even know what Virginia Tech has. But
oh yeah, dude, Kyron Drones is the absolute real deal. All right, and Tony Ellett, he's gonna come in pissed off. He's gonna call the game of his life.
You think they're gonna lose to Virginia too? Okay.
No, not Virginia. Y'all beat Virginia, but Virginia
you
Tech.
You Tony Elliott, ding-a-ling. He doesn't coach for Virginia Tech.
Well, I'm an idiot. Clearly, I don't follow ACC football, as you can tell.
What the fuck you talking about?
Clearly, I don't follow ACC, but I do know Kyron Drones.
I'm just letting him know because he just said Tony Elliott's going to call the game of his life.
You're not losing to Virginia. You're not losing to Virginia.
You're saying that he's calling the game of his life when he coaches Virginia.
See, what you're doing is you're being pedantic, Rob. You're being pedantic.
What you're talking
That's what
about.
you're doing. You're being pedantic. That's a Clemson word. You're being pedantic. Okay?
We talked about this. You are dumber than a bag of hammers.
Mm-mm.
If we put 18 hammers in a bag,
at its finest, Rob.
You are
Pedantry at its
stupid,
finest.
You're
Pedantry.
Just dumb.
All right. But
dumb.
Kyron Drones, he's going to absolutely expose
Uncle Lou's term one time, dumber than a junk drawer.
Yeah, VicTube is helping you out. Be quiet and listen to VicTube. He's helping you.
Thank you, VicTube. Thank you.
Fry is the head coach of Virginia Tech. Thank you, sir.
Listen, it don't matter if their head coach is fucking Frank Beamer, all right? They're going to whoop your ass. That's all I know, Rob. I don't have to know who their fucking head coach is to know they're going to come in and absolutely tap that fucking ass, Rob, okay? That's what you don't understand, all right? Put that on the bookcase of accountability. Virginia Tech beats the fuck out of Clemson, all right? It's happening. Right. Kyron Drones, he's probably going to – here's my stat prediction. Kyron Drones, 300 yards passing, 120 yards rushing. He's going to absolutely fucking Lamar Jackson your ass. He's going to
get 420 yards against that Clemson
Absolutely.
defense.
Absolutely. You have no more Barrett Carter. Your linebackers are suspect.
Carter's a starting linebacker, you dumb fuck.
They're suspect.
I packed your lunch food because I wish we played South Carolina this season so I can dodge the bullet again. Yeah, I wish we did too. And instead, they added teams that are better than you, like LSU, Alabama, and Oklahoma, to the slate and took you off. They left Missouri on there. They're better than you too, though. So I don't really know how well it's going to work out.
Jesus. He's like, you don't have Barrett Carter. He's the starting linebacker, you dumb fuck.
What he said? What did he say? I just heard screeching and screaming. Sound like a car wreck on I-95 out there.
He said, you don't have Barrett Carter anymore. Barrett Carter's the goddamn starting linebacker. He's just throwing shit into the breeze.
Well, sir, not everybody's up on their tater.
Well, then if you're gonna come on the show and try to have,
I knew that, but
of course you did. The point is that if you're gonna come on and say Clemson's gonna lose to everybody, at least know who's on the fucking team. Ethan Dalton on that way to the jackpot knee treatment. Tech isn't beating Clemson. Someone tell Tony Elliott he's the coach.
Yeah, wake him up. Side note, I don't think that's that far-fetched, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, you think they lose to Virginia? You want to go on the bookcase?
No, he said Virginia Tech, ding-a-ling.
He said Tony Elliott's going to call the greatest game ever.
Okay, well, Brent Pry's the fucking coach at Virginia Tech, and losing to them is not going to be that far-fetched, but I don't think you do. In fact, in my prediction video, I got you beating them because I think they're fool's gold. Let's look at their wins last year down the stretch and see how many of those teams actually had a winning record.
Not many.
They didn't.
Don't tell him that. Billy, what's up?
I'm just listening. I think it's amazing that Rob has SEC bias, comes on here ranting about a team that's won 2 natties back to back.
We're talking about Georgia?
No, about Clemson.
Well, Clemson didn't win.
When did the back-to-back take place?
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
And
that's fake news.
He's running his mouth and then doesn't know the players and anything. But I don't understand that.
He thinks we're losing to a team and he doesn't know who their fucking coach is. It's fucking great.
I heard it.
Every time he calls, it's just like, I have to play this. Laughing hysterically at it.
Yeah, somebody tell I packed your lunch fool that if you have to use 30 crying emojis like a teenage girl, that you probably know I'm correct. LSU, Oklahoma, Missouri are better than your team, but
we're talking about we've gotten into that, but
and on the other thing, quit listening to Sports J. I live here in East Tennessee, and don't listen to him. He's trolling y'all. And I eat breakfast every morning with about 15 of old guys, and we've all Tennessee fans, and none of us have ever brought up that game in 22. Hats off to South Carolina. You won a game 2 years ago. Good. No excuses. But I find it amazing that the Michigan investigation is still going on. What does that mean? You remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber? What's his name? Carrie. He says, "You mean we still got a chance?"
I don't know what could ever come for that, but
Well, what could come? It would be funny, and I really don't care. Is they start listing the schools that this Stallion guy sent videos to. And again, Rob, I watched your show today. It's not stealing signs on the field. It's when you videotape a team with electronics and then mail it.
I think I said that where it's you're at like advanced scouting, like you're on site filming or whatever.
Yeah, that's against the NCAA rules. I mean, it's right there in black and white. You can't do that. So
I just found it so it was just amusing that somebody gave him Central Michigan swag to put on so he could stand on their sideline. And I mean, those people, those are the dirtiest fuckers too. I mean, and their head coach knew that guy was over there.
Yeah.
And he had damn sunglasses on.
Right.
Recording. What the fuck? And he was recording Michigan State. And Michigan was a playoff team the year before. Did you really need to steal plays and record Michigan fucking State?
Right. Look at Game Talk, Mister. They're chiming in. I watched the game.
I mean, to me, that's like that would be on par with someone from Georgia out there recording South Carolina or Vanderbilt.
But you'd have to see who they originally play. In this case, until Tennessee lost to South Carolina, they were projected to be playing Michigan in the playoffs if they had won out. if they'd have won out. So I don't
Rob
know.
has an SEC bias with the super chat. Crazy Billy is 95 and gets out donated by me.
Out donated.
I don't know what that means, but sure,
Well,
buddy.
thank you, sir.
He's a Clemson grad, right?
I
Big
didn't
Barney
know
Rock
it
says
could count to
Billy Cole is
$1.99 that kind of education, but color me surprised.
No, I've
been
only
to
been to
football
I've been
games?
to a
Yeah.
couple of Georgia games. I've been to a whole lot of Florida games when I lived in Gainesville when I was in the Air Force there for 4 years. Been to one Tennessee game my whole life. That was in 2000. I just have no interest going up there, getting in a crowd of excess of 102,000 people in one little.
There's 102,000 people and 12 teeth.
Plus.
You don't want to go up there.
Plus, you know.
Plus,
the great thing is that after the game, everybody goes to the car and leaves. We don't meet at the tee. We don't do that. We don't do that. So maybe they should start doing that. Do sections A through F meet at the T for 10 minutes, and then G through L can meet at the T.
I'm not going to sit here and try to break down tradition to you guys, because the only tradition you have is being sanctioned by the NCAA. Right. That's what you got. I'm not going.
We got in trouble. We sure did.
That's your tradition. We don't.
Yeah.
Argue with you on
that. I've been there one time. So
you know, the thing that threw me off about going to Nail, and my dad was an usher there for 20 years, and that's why the reason I got in the game. I really didn't want to go, and it was against Florida. Is when I got ready to go to the restroom, my mouth dropped because I went in there and there was like a creek running through the cement, and you just walk up to the cement and the floor.
They peed in the floor.
Yeah, it was a little trough in the floor.
They had the trough urinal.
Yeah.
This trough, okay.
That was. I've been to a South Carolina game or two.
We had the troughs. We used to.
Now my youngest son goes to South Carolina games all the time. In fact, he's coming back to Columbia in September. He's in the Air Force. He's going to be stationed at Shaw, so he's getting me tickets to come to a South Carolina game and stay. So
thanks, son. Appreciate you making Dad happy, sending me to the fucking ghetto to watch a team that's not my favorite team.
Well, a couple years ago, his older brother and them showed up at my house in North Carolina when I lived up there, and they had bought tickets to a Tennessee game, and it was the South Carolina game, and I did not want to go, but they had the tickets, so they made me go. And we almost got in a fight. Both my oldest son and my younger one had to pull me out of the section because we was right next to the section against South Carolina. This was the game where I guess it was in 2000 where South Carolina opened up on the first play and scored. But then Tennessee came back in that game. It was at Knoxville. And,
I got to read the super chats here. Rooster says 2024 is a new year with new players. 2022 is over and done. Rob has an SEC bias, says Billy remembers leather helmets and the Great War.
The Great War?
On the way to his 100th.
What's the Great War?
But he said, I offered JP an SC ticket a couple years ago at Neyland. Well, you know, I
live 70 miles from there. There's people got tickets all the time. I ain't going up there. I ain't getting in that. I'm not getting in it.
I think, and maybe this is just me, I don't mind going every now and then, but the idea of going and being around 80,000 people, most of them drunk, and I don't have my air condition or my bathroom right down the hall. Nah, I don't want to do that. I mean, I like to go to games, but I'll go to big games, but somebody will be like, hey, come to the Wake Forest game. I don't want to fucking do that.
No.
You know?
That's like UTC game. They're giving tickets away up here the first game of the year on the, 31st or 3rd. They're giving tickets. Nobody wants to go see that. Now, the next game at Charlotte, that will tell the tale for us. And I've said it several times on here, and all the Tennessee fans know it. This game will let us know what we got. North Carolina State. And everybody thinks that we're going to, that they scare me. They're ranked in the top 20. They're ranked for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going.
They're a team that has the capability that they can beat. I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying it's not like
they got a couple of transfer running backs Jordan Waters, who came from Duke, who ran for like 800 yards last year. And they have another kid that transferred from Oklahoma that's a sophomore that is from Charlotte that transferred back to NC State or to North Carolina play at NC State named Hollywood Smothers, which is a great name for a football player, Hollywood.
Well, it'll be a good game, I'm sure, but that game scares the
Hollywood,
daylights out.
the NC State World Order.
Yep. And that game just it doesn't sit well. You know, which team's going to show up? The team that plays Florida or the team that plays?
Well, it's not like it's the Virginia game where you're going out there and you've got a better roster than they have. You know what I'm saying? Because they've got playmakers that can make a difference. Virginia didn't have that, so it's a completely different. So,
and I'm gonna say this: in Bank of America Stadium, the past few years, NC State has lost a close one in the Duke's Mayo / Belk Bowl. Not really sure what it was. Lost a close one to to Maryland. They've lost a close one to Kentucky, and then in 2017, they opened up the season by losing to my Gamecocks. So in terms of just Bank of America Stadium and winning, NC State is due.
We'll see if that works out.
Christopher Adam over here.
That's a conspiracy theory.
Does he know it's getting past time to go back to the nervous hospital? There is a curfew. He needs to get back home. I'll see y'all later.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah.
All right, jackpot. Well, there you go.
That weirdo not going to call in tonight.
I don't know. That was
school starts back around here tomorrow. I don't know if you knew that.
My kids started school today, so yeah, I mean it's there.
Well, when are they getting out? Because I mean, gosh, when do they get out of school? The middle of May now? Daggone.
No, they go to the end of May. Like I know they went till after Memorial Day last year.
Well, they're going to be making it up somewhere. I mean, they're getting a longer Christmas or what?
I don't know. I mean, they change the schedule every year. They're supposed to go. South Carolina law says they have to go 180 days.
Yeah.
So let's welcome back. Rob has an SEC bias. Hopefully he doesn't say anything else that's stupid.
Since I got so rudely cut off, all right, I still had some stuff I had to say, Rob.
Well, finish it up because I want to go to bed.
I'll be quick. Talk about a performance from the Gamecock legend Noah Lyles bringing home the gold for his
going to bed.
Look at Ziggy, man. What a pooch.
Damn right.
Noah Lyles bringing home the gold for his country, but more importantly, his school, all right? An absolute Gamecock legend. You don't see many Clemson players bringing in gold medals, so, you know, at least somebody can put on for the state of South Carolina. But let me end the show with this.
I thought his name was Quincy something.
Noah Lyles, sir.
I might be thinking of somebody. I've had a couple of.
Yeah, you don't even.
Gotta cut me over the slack.
Noah Lyles is from Gainesville, sir.
I
mean, you got the wrong. You came on and promoted the wrong fucking athlete. That went to your program.
Message of what I'm saying that you are not focusing on. You're focused on a slight misstep. All right, that's pedantry at its finest. But I want to leave the show with this: horns down, quarter zip till I die. Shane Beamer, hide your fucking Gatorade coolers. We're coming, baby.
Do you see what I'm talking about, Jackpot? The motherfucker comes on here and says, hey, Noah Lyles was a Gamecock that went and won a gold medal. Noah, oh, God. Noah Lyles.
This man also said that Virginia Tech and Coach Tony Elliott are going to bust your ass.
Noah Lyles ran for fucking Florida, sir. He ran track for Florida. You came on and, you know, pushed up a guy that ran track
for Quincy
Florida.
Hall.
Oh, my God. What an ass. What an ass. I don't even know where to go from here on that.
He's just doing it to get a rise out of you, and by God, he succeeded.
Probably. He probably did, because Lord knows there's no way that he could be that fucking stupid. So there's that. All right, Jackpot. Great show. We'll be back at it on Sunday evening. Get into the Pick'em Challenge. It's so simple.
Yeah, it really is.
Go to robandkaleshow.com. I'll be doing the rundown tomorrow, as long as we don't get rained out. For some reason, when it rains really heavy, we lose our internet around here. I don't understand that. Fuck Spectrum, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out tomorrow. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys, and we shall see you later on.
All right. Have a